Yo, what is up YouTube? And today we're going to be taking a peek at the feedback thread from the official Etheria Restart Discord. Now this is one of the threads there that is receiving a lot of traction lately. It is posted by the username Rohab in the official Discord for the game. And this person basically talks about the list of changes that this game really needs to get. Otherwise, it's quote-unquote going to start losing a lot of players, which is going to be true. I think a lot of people have already quit because of these things, and there's a lot of changes here that I actually agree with, and a lot of it will be based off of difficulty in building your characters. Now, before a lot of people say, oh, the game is supposed to be a marathon, not just, a sprint, well, the thing is, I agree with that statement, but even as a player that has spent a decent amount, that has pretty much beaten all the content that is in the game. I've beaten hard Ember check 42 as you saw, and I cleared all of Anisync echoes, and I'm ending top 50 in arena, which is nothing like too crazy to be honest, but it's still an achievement I'd say. You can kind of see, I do have a lot of progression in this game. I also played in beta, and I think these changes are definitely required because for me, as a person that has gotten a head start in the game, because 1, I played in beta, 2, I played on the content creator server as well, and 3, I did spend money on the game. I still feel these woes of the community, which is insane for me, considering I'm not even free to play. So as free to play, it must feel way worse. About 99% of the community, actually maybe not 99, maybe 90% is going to be free to play. So it's definitely in the devs' best interest to cater to them, because otherwise the player base is going to leave. And even though the whales fund this game, which is true for most gacha games, in a game that they explicitly say that it's PvP focused, they need to make sure they retain as much of a player base as possible. Otherwise, queues get long and the whales start leaving for different games and yada yada yada. So it's very important to retain a good player base, especially this early on. So the devs did respond to this post. I'll talk about that at the end. But let's look at the things that this person proposed. So the first thing this person is talking about is daily challenges. Basically for Grim Pursuit, which is shells, and Threshold, which is modules, right? Basically, they want to remove epic drops from Inferno difficulty. That is the purple drops. And I think this is going to be a good change. Not purple drops. These are the yellow drops for the shells. So they want to remove yellow shells from Inferno difficulty. So currently in the game, you can actually get yellow shells from Inferno. So if you go to Inferno here for Nico Nana, you can still get these black flags and Twilight Nights. But the thing is, once you're starting to farm Inferno, you're never going to ever upgrade these ever again. In fact, once you start farming Inferno, the ones that you actually built up from the past when you were progressing your account in the mid game, you're gonna sell. You're gonna pretty much sell them right away. So it makes no sense for these to drop. It's basically going to be just there for currency, to be honest, to sell. And the reason why this person is talking about this is because when you're farming shells anyways, there's so much RNG. Everyone's looking for the triple matrix. This is a very low drop chance, and even when it drops, you are still going to have to roll well on the 3 matrices, not just 2, 3, to actually get a good usable one. On top of that, you're going to be getting a ton of these. Okay, so it doesn't look like the drop rates are low, but this is what I got out of 2 weeks of farming it. So that's a lot, right? And basically, you're going to be getting also these 2 matrix ones, which you're going to want to kind of just use as fodder, because if you didn't know, the ones with 3 matrices on it, they actually get bonus base stats. So you're just fighting a lot of RNG. Removing the yellow ones just makes no sense, just because of the fact that you're never ever using this. You're just always recycling them. The next thing this person talks about is going to be to adjust the difficulty of Inferno so that more formations could farm it, not just 1 to 3. I think this was a good argument before the nerfs, especially for Nico Nana. But now with Nico Nana nerfed, even on my channel, I showcased the full free-to-play team to do it. That's very consistent. And Nico Nana is the one shell area that you need to get into farming with, and that way you can start branching out. I think they can nerf the difficulty for some of the really hard ones. For example, I think Rengo probably needs to be nerfed. The damage is just too insane. There's even if you can auto it, the win rate's it's going to be the lowest out of all the shells by a decent amount. And yeah, I think that one needs a nerf, and probably Shadow Flame Hoyan as well. But for now, I think Nico Nana is in a good spot. I think Sharon's in an okay spot. The other 2, debatable. Okay, next we're talking about Thresholds. So Thresholds also has a similar issue with shells. So if we go to Thresholds here, you're going to see that it's going to actually say that it can only drop 3 matrix pieces. But in reality, you can still get 2 matrix pieces. So it says you can only get 3 matrix. I don't know why it like false advertises like this. Like if you look at this, what are you gonna think? Wow, we have to get to Inferno, it's only gonna drop 3 matrix pieces. Well, surprise, surprise, you can still get a ton of 2 matrices, and you get way more. So you can see if I like scroll down here, you'll see I get a ton of 2 matrices, and this is like terrible because you're fighting RNG because you are still looking for these substats. I think what this should do for Inferno is make it so that either 2 matrices don't drop, or if they drop, don't make them 2 matrix 2 line. Like these are just like super garbage pieces. Even 2 matrix 3 line pieces are super garbage, but like why am I getting these like 2 matrix 2 line pieces for 10 stamina, right? And it just feels super bad because to get to Inferno, like this difference between Inferno and Hell is so large, and it feels like you're rewarded with piss because you're not really getting that much better of a drop increase. And it's definitely going to be like that for the 3 matrix, how it's going to feel. The only upside is really you're going to get these specialized cores, but even these specialized cores, you're fighting RNG. Like you're going to see, if I scroll down to how many like I don't have upgraded, like how am I supposed to upgrade these? These are just like terrible, right? You're fighting so much RNG for the main stat and also for the substats, right? Like literally I cannot really upgrade any of these. Like this is like the only one good piece, but it's on the wrong set because this is for healers. So yeah, I think they definitely need to fix something with the drop rates. You know, as this person said, it just feels terrible. It's like the biggest thing for me. Yeah, I just don't really like how you get little benefit from upgrading from Hell to Inferno. But even then, if you're farming Hell, like you're always going to be in that mindset. If I was farming Inferno right now, I would be getting more bang for my buck in terms of stamina. So I have to go to Inferno, and then you get to Inferno, and then you're like, wow, the drop rate is not that much higher, right? So it just feels bad. I think they definitely need to change something about it. And next thing we're looking at is the trials. So trials have a big issue. This person's saying Anisync echoes doesn't need any changes. Ember check doesn't need any changes. Ethernet rally doesn't need any changes besides like making it rotate more often, which I kind of agree with. I think 21 days is fine. This person wants it at 14, but not everyone has like the time to play the game that much. So 21 seems like a decent amount of time. Phantom Theater, they want the wolves to change twice a week or even daily. Sure, I don't think that's a big deal. I think these changes are very minimal that don't really matter too much. A lot of people complain about the difficulty, and this person talks about it for Ember check and Ethernet rally, but I think it's fine how it is, just because of the fact that right now it feels terrible because not of the difficulty of Ember check and Ethernet rally, but because of this. Because we can't get good like modules and matrices to gear out our characters, it feels pretty bad. So I think the difficulty is fine. If they just change the things in Threshold and Grim Pursuit, this will all follow suit and just feel easier. The next thing we're talking about is limited events. So the limited events are terrible, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's one of the worst I've seen. And that's because of the fact that you can't buy out shops, you're not even close. There's so much RNG in the rewards. For example, like if we look at one of the events that's running right now, if I can switch my screen here. So like if I go to the Shell Story, this is like one of the best events, right? You can get a ton of stabilizers and stuff like that, but there's so much RNG. Like your end game goal is to gather all of these wish orbs, which you get by passing start or passing go, like Monopoly, or looting them in this like center board. And it's super reliant on RNG to see like how far you can go around the board and how fast. And also if you can land on this to even like go through. And they give you these like special dices to like, you know, manipulate it. But you can't always guarantee that you'll get one every single round. And even if you do, you have to make the choice whether you want to go through like the shortcut or if you want to, you know, pass through go. For example, if you land like anywhere between this like summon and the arrow, it just feels bad to like force yourself to land here because maybe you could go further, right? And yeah, there's just a lot of things about it that has a lot of RNG. Even the shop, you can see 3 days left. Like I am nowhere close to like to be able to buy anything, not anything, everything. I don't even know if I can make the lattice at this point, which is terrible. So because of that, you know, I think they need to add more currency, and you know, these events are just bad. We also have this cage rumble event. Ignore my score. I kind of just like went in with ungeared units because I didn't have time, and I'll probably do it right after recording to redo it. But basically, like this event just feels bad because even if you're like super late game, there's like people that can't really do it because you need a full roster of literally like 15 characters. Of course, you can like sandbag some teams and, you know, have one team carry you and stuff like that. But the event is made to have 5 built characters on 3 different teams, and you can't share the gear. I think the event itself is fine, but they released it way too early. And yeah, it's a rotating event. Just take it out of the rotation for this like cycle. Like I don't think it was that hard to think of, because like no one's gonna have it geared, like have the gear to do it, and 100% like people are gonna get mad about having this event in the rotation right now. So the limited event is like always rotating. People don't know that, but these are like always gonna be rotating. And yeah, I think they should have made that more clear. Instead of a limited event, you should have named it like, I don't know, rotating event. That would just make way more sense, right? But yeah, that's like one of the things that they talk about. And for Arena now, so Arena, you know, pre-saved modules and shells for PvP content. Yeah, this is great. I think it's gonna be much better. Reduce the periods. I don't really think so. The RTA seasons being like 3 months, it's like kind of standard. 2 months is very short, I think, for RTA seasons. So I think 3 months is fine. But I do think for like defense teams for Arena, you definitely want to have your animuses pre-saved, because right now the way defense teams work is your gear is like live. So if you like swap your gear to farm stuff, your defense team's gear gets swapped off. It feels terrible, and it makes me, when I'm playing the game, when I'm farming, always think about, oh my god, I have to do this quickly because I have to put my gear back on my defense team. It's super annoying. So they should definitely change that. I agree with that. Union, make it easier to track who did or not attack the other Union in Union Wars. Allow Union leader and vice leader to change positions. Yes, they should definitely do this. I don't know why I can't see who didn't attack. I don't know who's sandbagging. I don't know who's trolling. No one's answering Discords. It's like, what do you do, right? I don't know why they didn't do this. It's like such a weird interface. They need to like have like a battle log, or if like you look at your defense, for example, it should tell you like how many attacks you did. Next up, they talk about game economy. This is like a really big one as well. It kind of ties in honestly with the daily challenges, but right now, like the amount of coins and like shell currency you get, the data, the training data, it's really low, and it just feels terrible. Like you get barely any back from recycling for modules, and for shells, like you have to roll on it as well, the same as you have to do with gear. And what I mean by that is like if we look at shells here, like not only are you looking for good matrices, but you also are rolling for these substats, the passives. And I don't know why red ones have the blue tier. It should just be red, yellow, and purple, to be honest. They're saying they want red and yellow only, but I think red, yellow, and purple is fine. Just like remove one, like at least one, just because of the fact that some shells, like it could take you like 3 million training data to get up. So it just feels terrible. And then, you know, we have events where you need 15 characters built. So it's like, oh my god, do I need like 45 million training data? Like, yeah, just feels really bad. But yeah, they should definitely make the drops higher for coins and training data. And also, I don't really know if they need to give you more back for recycling. I guess probably that will also help the drops. So yeah, they do have to do that. And, you know, change something with shells like rolling. It's just terrible. Please remove the blue one. Like, it makes no sense that the red one has a blue passive. Blue's literally from like level 10 gear. So yeah. Other aspects, hyperlink pass, make it 100 instead of 50. I think they can leave it at 50. Just make it so that you still level after that. Just make sure we're getting like training data and coins after like level 50. So for example, if we look at the pass here, basically, dude, I haven't even opened this in so long because I've been done with it. But basically, you should be able to level past 50 here and just have the chronicles keep going. Like, you can still claim EXP, you just can't level up. It's just super troll. And then what they should do is 51, 52, like 51 and onwards, every time you level, maybe get like 20k here and like an extra 20k if you bought the ultimate pass, right, for coins and training data. That way, like, this will feel a lot worse as well. Or not a lot worse. The like currency drought will feel a lot better as well, and they should definitely do that. For weekly quests, yeah, they should give us better rewards. Right now we're getting like pretty dog water stuff. The weekly quests definitely need to give us more stuff. Formations, I'm not gonna lie, I have no freaking idea how formations work because it feels like they do nothing, so I don't know what to feel about that. Animus reset, allowed to do 1 to 3 resets weekly for crystals at least. So this is like a huge topic about it, This is a huge topic about it. This is a huge discussion that people have about Animus Reset, whether they should give it to us or not. I think like weekly is way too much. I think like what they'll end up doing most likely is after every season for RTA, like every 3 months, they'll give us the reset event again. But I think weekly is way too much. It'll make it so that they lose a lot of money, to be honest. And the fun part about gacha games is like being able to strategically use your resources, right? And by thinking about your characters, thinking about your comp, you get ahead of other people. I think 1 to 3 weekly is way too much. What I think they should have done is they should have had like unlimited resets for the first month of playing, just because of the fact that beta was very short. Not everyone played beta, obviously, and then there were changes from beta to launch in terms of characters and boss difficulty. So they should have just had this for a month straight with unlimited resets for crystals, to be honest. Like, maybe make the first 3 free, and then after that you like have to pay 500 crystals. I think if they did that, it would feel a lot better and people wouldn't feel as stressed, and probably wouldn't feel like this material drought, just because, you know, they're allowed to make mistakes in the first month, which is going to happen with your players, right? Because they are new to the game. So I think they should have definitely done that. But I think they'll end up doing a reset event between each season. I think 1 to 3 resets weekly is kind of crazy in my opinion, but just let me know what you guys think about that. Also, events calendar and game roadmap, yes, definitely need that in a game. We 100% need that. One thing I want to add to this is the summons. So if we actually look at the game here, I don't know why this is even a thing. Why do we only have an LD banner? Like, we have no RGB banner running, right? Usually in other games, when one RGB banner ends, so the last one was Holden and Hoyan, which was literally like 5 days ago, usually they rotate in another one. And they have so many choices, right? You can literally slot in something like a Kloss and literally make so much money and also make your player base happy. You can put in Giada or Rosa, and you could also, you know, make a lot of players happy. But for sure, I think right now, the 2 banners that should be running alongside this, in my opinion, what they should have done, because they shouldn't just be releasing it randomly at the start of the game. That's why they have Freya at the start, right? For everyone, because they know she's very good for PvE. What they should be doing, like this week, is releasing Kloss and between Giada and Rosa, or even both, and people choose. 1, it makes the player base happy because these 3 characters are very important for progression. And 2, they'll make a ton of money, no? So it's like a win-win, I feel like. Unless they want to scam people on this permanent banner and have them pray that they pull them to make more money. But I don't think people are doing that. So I think that's a complaint that I have. But yeah, pretty much it for this video. Nothing really else to talk about. I'll probably make a separate video on this permanent summon, not permanent summon, the RGB banner thing, so it gets more traction and maybe the devs see it. Now, in terms of how the devs responded, so this is how they, like, one of the managers responded in Discord. They said, thank you for sharing the feedbacks. Some of them are already discussing within the team, and hopefully you could see some changes in the next few patches. Please be patient. So basically they're saying that the changes will happen, and I don't doubt that just because of the fact that they did change Inferno difficulty very quickly. I know, like, everyone likes to, you know, look at the negatives, but if you think about it, the game has only been out for 2 weeks and they nerf bosses for us. That's a pretty good time frame. I've seen other games not do it ever and then they die. They also, you know, gave us the reset that we wanted. They gave us the 2x that we wanted. So very, very good on their part and how they respond. And even though it may seem slow sometimes, at least they're responding, right? And this guy, I don't mean to stalk you, I'm sorry, but he's a very reputable person, I'd say, to trust, because they've been in the Etheria Discord since 2022. So that's like before the game even released or even was in beta. So definitely part of like a big team. And yeah. So I think definitely a person that we can, you know, trust. And profile pictures also of Etheria Restart. So definitely someone that is a big part of the team. So yeah, I think changes are going to come in the next few patches. They're definitely thinking about it. I think the thing is, like, it's not that they don't know about these issues. I think that there's just things they're discussing and they're trying to find the best solution to the problems. I don't think they are unaware of the problems, because you would have to be crazy to not be unaware of these problems as a developer. But I think they're thinking about, you know, how to actually fix them so that the game's not too easy, but also not this level of difficult. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Thank you again to Rohab for also posting the thread. I think you did a great job for the community. You not only organized all the thoughts for everyone in terms of what needs to be changed, but of course you also brought it up to the managers and the devs. So thank you again, and I'll see you guys next video.